Hello and welcome along to Extra Time here on Fox's Hub with me, Dan Bates, Matt Elliott, Iwan Roberts and Matty Fryatt are in the studio. It's great to be back. I've had a mini break, shall we say, but still going here from home. Good evening to the three of you and well done to Iwan Roberts for steering the ship a couple of weeks ago. I can't seem to hear you at the minute there, Ewan, so we'll hopefully fix that. I tell you what, Matty and Matt, can either of you say something? We'll just get you sorted. We'll come back. A few technical difficulties. It was always going to happen with me here. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, hopefully. Okay, take two. Welcome along to Extra Time here on Fox's Hub. Right, we'll jump straight into it. I'm Dan Bates, Matty Fryatt, Iwan Roberts and Matt Elliott are in the studio. Ewan, quick tester, can we hear you? Can the other guys hear you?
Can you hear me, Dan? Can you hear me? How's the knee, mate? How's the knee? How's the knee?
That's me, not you. And yeah, it's all good, thank you. It's all good. He's
good.
getting there. Thank you very much. Started physio on Friday, so yeah, got that joy to look forward to. But more importantly, how are the three of you, especially you, Matty Fryatt? It feels like it's been ages since we've seen each other.
Yeah, it's been a while. Have you noticed anything different?
No, not through the screen. You're
cheers.
down, mate. Yeah.
Lost a little bit of weight.
To be fair, they do say
very nice, mate.
Camera puts £10 on you. They do say.
Cheers, Ewan.
So that's probably why Dan hasn't noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've certainly put on £10 and the rest just sat at home doing nothing. But less about me and more about Matt. How are you? Good weekend. Obviously, watching the game. Leicester through to the next round of the FA Cup.
You talking to me, Batesy? Yeah.
Yeah,
I am.
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Matt. Yeah. Slimline Matty, by the way. That's what he was getting on that. Yeah. But you're right. You have put on a few pounds, Batesy, haven't you? That head's bigger than it ever was. Anyway, football in terms. Let's get on to football in matters. Yeah, it was a strange old game at the weekend, wasn't it? Really. Leicester, bizarre as it sounds, could have been four or even 5 down. I know that sounds a bit extreme, but better finishing from the away team. Could have been a sticky situation, but once the changes were made, after Leicester settled down, about 5 minutes or so into the second half, even then Birmingham had a couple of opportunities. Leicester were loose with their play, but once they got into that rhythm, and then once they got the first goal, there was no coming back. Really, they looked comfortable enough, but it was far from as easy as the scoreline suggests, which anyone who saw the game will verify.
It looks a comfortable afternoon, really. 3-0 clean sheet, 3 good goals. But as you said, Matty, when you see the chances that Birmingham created in that first half, 19 shots they had.
Good chances as well.
On Leicester. And Jakob's come in, he's kept a clean sheet, he's made some saves that you would expect him to make, to be fair.
So that was the thing, the lack of quality in the finishing made it relatively comfortable for Stellacic in terms of the saves. There were no wonder stops, were there? Hit the post on one of them, but even more clinical there, then it's a totally different scenario. But all's well that ends well, which is a phrase I've used a few times this season.
Old cliche as well. Game of 2 halves.
Yeah. Oh, never more so.
Yeah.
Never more so.
Yeah. Throughout the show, we'll look back on that game with Birmingham as well as the goal scorers and that man of the match that those guys have just referenced there, Jakub Stellacic. Great first half performance in particular. We'll do our Lurdle as ever. It's basically a normal extra time here, and do get involved as you always do on social media. Lisa Howe, good evening to you. She says, well done, but our main focus has to be the league. If the FA Cup comes out or we get to go far in that, then it's a bonus. We'll talk about the draw for the FA Cup that was made, of course. Leicester travelling to Bournemouth in the next round of the competition. Quick word for Matt Elliott, who I assume will have to go down. To the Vitality.
Disastrous draw. I cannot think.
I'm sure when I saw that, I immediately thought of you, Matt, when the draw was made.
You know, the weird thing is, I heard the draw and I was like, that's difficult. Not ideal, but, you take what you get. And then it dawned on me this morning. And I was just having a little look at recap on the fixtures in the ties, in the round. And I was like, oh, no, that's me, isn't it? That's me. Much as I like going to watch Leicester play, I don't like the 5-hour journey that it takes me and probably 4.5 back. But c'est la vie.
Dan, first thing he asked me, or he said to me when he got here tonight, how far's Bournemouth from you then, big man?
Yeah.
The worst thing on that, it's a Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's in midweek, isn't it?
Crazy,
Exactly.
crazy. Like you could have made a weekend.
Then I realised that I might have to make a week of it. But no, it's a tough draw though, isn't it? Tough draw.
You'd fit in quite well down there, Bournemouth. A lot of old people there.
Oh, so I don't fit in anywhere, not those media seats too well. Anyway, down at Bournemouth. Yeah, I'm getting that stage. I might travel down there and never come back. Get stuck there. But it's a tough draw, isn't it? Tough draw, really. Bournemouth going pretty well at the moment. The Liverpool game aside, but yes, there could have been easier ties, and Leicester yet again. I know, apart from the weekend, but yet again, away from the King Power in the FA Cup or any cup competition.
I know, obviously, the atmosphere, I gather, Matt, on Saturday was really good. We heard from Lisa there. She says, obviously, the league is the priority. I think no one will dispute that. No one will disagree with that. But it was great to see a really good, strong crowd and a really vocal crowd as well on Saturday. Yeah,
it was. And I think Birmingham played a big part in that as well, though, didn't they? Obviously, an extra allowance in the FA Cup. And I've heard reports of like 5,800 supporters. So, it's gonna sort of raise the atmosphere, isn't it? there, and I think the Leicester fans reacted to it a little bit, as best they could as well. It wasn't a total sellout from what I could see, but you'd rather that, wouldn't you, than, I don't know,
half-empty stadium.
Yeah, exactly. 500 coming from Carlisle or something, whatever. And I think it stokes. They can have different effects, can't it? But I think it sort of stoked the players up a little bit. There was a bit of spark in the game. It was quite a fast-moving game, and although Leicester struggled to come to terms with Birmingham, to be honest, in the first half, but once things settled down, as I said, things went to plan. But strange game, good atmosphere, pretty free-flowing, good game to watch, to be honest. And because sometimes first halves have been a little bit stale, haven't they, at the King Power? Throughout the league campaign, things burst into life in the second half, which proved the point from Leicester's point of view at the weekend. But this was a good game throughout. There was plenty of action and activity going on. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Lee Ragg, speaking of supporters that was there, has got in touch with us on Facebook. He says, Matty, that he left scratching his head how they won 3-0, but at least he was at the right end of the ground to see all of the goals and all of the saves as well in the first half, of course. Do you agree that it was very much, as we've already referenced, a game of two halves?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Stilarche, you'd expect him to make them saves, but he's still got to do that. I think from a Birmingham perspective, they'll be disappointed with the opportunities they had and didn't take any. And football can punish you. Birmingham don't take theirs, and then second half, Leicester do. They get the first goal, and then things change. And vintage Albrighton into Vardy, and you don't see that often either. Obviously, Leicester played with sort of inverted wingers or on the opposite feet, sort of right-sided winger, left-footed. Mavididi the same. He's on the left, playing obviously strongest foot to the right. So we don't really see that too much in the modern game, where someone gets the ball out the feet, just whips it first time, and it's a brilliant header by Jamie Vardy. Those ones can look super easy. We know what it's like, Ewan, where you just see it coming across, but as a forward, you want it early, that ball played in, and then Vardy's timed it brilliantly and executed really well to get into the corner, and then that just set up. But it was also good to see Yunus getting a goal. He looks sharp. He's been willing, he's been trying, but he hasn't really affected games.
Not had a run of games, has he? He's been
he
sort
hasn't,
of in and out.
Difficult.
And, yeah.
So I think you try a bit too much. He has been busy in games, but it hasn't really affected in terms of scoring, assisting, trying a little bit too hard, which can sometimes be the case when you're not in all the time. But in the end, sort of comfortable, and Leicester did take the chances. It looked routine, but certainly a game of two halves.
It's worth mentioning the Eunice there, because totally in agreement with you there. I think he gets bumped out of games a little bit, doesn't he? Not physically the strongest, technically very gifted, and I almost feel for him because there's a good player there.
He's willing, he's trying, he's busy. Yeah. You can see the little pockets. The one thing I'd question on was the finish or the final ball in terms of can he strike it well? And then saw that goal. It was like flipping out onto it, bang.
Yeah, there was one in the first half, I think. Yeah, it was the first half, and he's done well. He skipped past 2-3 challenges, striding towards goal. I mean, he got a bit carried away with himself. He was about 30 yards out, and he's trying to leather it. Never got enough power on it.
Yeah, and normally that little soft one, isn't it? Yeah. Where you're trying to, but the one he scored was
That's
one.
What I mean, it came from nowhere, didn't it? But he didn't get enough power on it in the first try. And has he got that capability, really? But obviously, he knew better than me. The second half, that was like all his frustrations being vented, wasn't it? Here we go. It fell for him perfectly. He's been waiting for that. Walked onto it, ran onto it, smashed it. All his venom came out, didn't it? He's absolutely leathered it, hasn't he?
But even with the celebration, sort of like that flipping, sort of confidence, express yourself, and it's like sort of monkey off your back sort of style where you get that goal and then, a bit of frustration in terms of the strike just went through it, and then the celebration, it looked like it meant so much to him. It's what a way to open this account, but hopefully he can build on that, because I think there's a player there. It just hasn't really come through, or he's tried to force things, but it was a brilliant strike.
Yeah, because it improved his confidence no end there. Making him officially feel part of the group, almost, isn't it? Sometimes it takes you that way you make your mark, don't you?
And it's not easy when you're coming from another country. I don't know what his English is like, but as Matty said, there's an obvious player there. He's playing for the biggest club in Turkey. He's a Turkish international, and they're flying at the minute. It's been a stop-start to his Leicester career, because when Ndidi
Stop.
Stop. Is that what I said? When you've got the three boys in midfield, wings, Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi, when they're all fit, it's hard to break into that midfield three. And I'm not too sure where his best position, if he's a wide player, or is he an attacking midfielder? Because
initially when he came, he was playing out wide.
Because he's got that pace about him.
I haven't made my mind up whether he's quick or not.
He's sharp. He's sharp. He's got that half a yard to get away and sort of jink in and out. But that's a really good point, because obviously Dewsbury Hall and Ndidi, they're different. They're 2/8s running forward and using the athleticism. As if you're playing there, he's probably a 10, an out sort of 10, or in the pocket as a wide player. And he's sort of been in between, looking at those two as well. And hasn't sort of fit, like you say, obviously different environment and seeing how it looks in terms of how Wilf and Keenan play is slightly different. So he's needed time to adjust, but you'd see him in that pocket, but hopefully that will give him the confidence to go on.
Yeah, probably have a big part to play. You did want to talk about that, Bates, yeah?
I was going to just say that, you often see with players, if you sign them, whether they're on loan like Eunice is or permanently from other countries, it can take 6 months, can't it, to settle into the Championship, to the Premier League, whatever it might be, to English football. And maybe we're starting to see that, Ewan, now.
When I signed for Huddersfield, it took me 12 months. When I signed for Norwich, it took me about 8 months. It's not easy. Things don't quite start or don't quite go the way you go. You sort of struggle to settle into a new environment, a new style of play, new teammates. You've got to get to know the dressing room, and it's not easy. But there's obviously a talent in there. He just needs to be given a run of games. I mean, what you have to be impressed with. Birmingham, I thought, went quite strong, and you said probably as strong a side as they could have played. Tony Mowbray's sort of new into his job there. He's had a really good reaction from the squad. Enzo made 10 changes to the Ipswich team. I think only Hamza started last Monday. Gave the likes of Ben Nelson and Ben Cover an opportunity, which was great to see. So all in all, okay, the first half wasn't great. Could have conceded one or two, but to win 3-0 and go into the fifth round, I think it was job done.
Yeah, it's very much exactly what Enzo Maresca, Matty, would have wanted, really, from waking up on Saturday morning. If you could have said, what does the day look like? It's the debutants, the young lads playing well, the team getting through into the next round of the competition with, in the second half, you can certainly say relative ease.
Yeah, job done. It just indictment of the academy. Just looking at there, 5 starters from the academy, 2 from the bench, so 7 all in all. It just bodes really well against a strong Birmingham team. That's probably the strongest lineup they could go, and they would have wanted to get through. So in the end, progression into the next round, comfortable in terms of a scoreline, but looks good from an academy perspective, and a good win overall. And you could maybe legislate for the start or the first half with the amount of changes, but that can happen. Some people haven't played as many minutes. They come in again with personnel they're not used to playing well, especially in a game. And Birmingham were up for it. It was on the front foot. But all in all, job well done into the next round against Bournemouth, which I think in the fifth round in particular, you're always going to face a Premier League team. I think there's only one tie that doesn't go with Premiership teams against the opposition. So as much as Bournemouth are a good side, I think it's one that Leicester, they could do without the travel. But apart from that, they could look to go there and turn Bournemouth over.
Yeah, just having a look again on Facebook. James says it took the old guard to make things happen, Matty, and that was great to see, wasn't it? Mark Albrighton to Jamie Vardy, and you see on social media the reaction to that, the picture that we put up on our social media accounts. They're clearly adored by the fans, and to see that link up again was fantastic.
Never lose that quality, do you?
Matty, you said, didn't you?
I think I said Matt, but
I'm sorry. I do apologise for the confusion. Yeah, no, I thought, yeah, it was great to see them. I mean, Albrighton, I don't know how he does it, to be honest. He doesn't get too much game time, does he? Hasn't featured too often, and then he goes and churns out a 90+ minute performance against, Birmingham, which was a very difficult encounter. He just keeps chugging up and down that right-hand touchline, doesn't he? Producing the quality that you've always expected from him, really. And when he got in that position, on the counter, wasn't it, pretty much? Eunice fizzed it out to him wide, and he got a bit of space and time to get his head up. Birmingham would be disappointed how loose they were defensively. Vardy makes that little run from near post, pulls away, creates the space. Albrighton finds him, and it's it's almost a rerun of yesteryear, isn't it? On many occasions. But what a player he's been for the club, Albrighton. He's probably surprised himself how long he's lasted at that level. But how he does it at his age, and it always bemuses me how players these days go so long without playing games, and they step in, don't they? I know they do the fitness work and they're tested, etc., and all that, but nothing like playing games, and they go in there and they produce a performance like that. And he had a big part to play in the second goal as well, didn't he? When he came in, he was rolling the ball this way and that. When he was on the run inside, they popped it off to Cannon, a little bounce and a bobble, and then Eunice tucks it away. So he certainly contributed. He could be very pleased with himself, and he's put himself in the manager's thoughts as well again, hasn't he? I think a little bit more. Okay, he doesn't get in the strongest.
I think he knows that.
He knows that.
He accepts that. He's
happy to be where he is, and how things are with him. And you can take another little month off now, can't you? Have a little rest up after his exertions.
Bournemouth isn't that far away.
No, Bournemouth away.
Well, no, exactly. Yeah, no. He'll get time, certainly usage in between that as well. But fair play to him. Fair play.
You touched on that on his fitness, though. It's even harder being out the team and the position he plays. He's not like one of the older players where he's just sitting in defensive midfield or maybe at the back, as you might have done, or a centre forward as a battering ram. Did. But he's up and down as well, isn't he? And obviously hasn't got the pace to burst past like he used to do, but we don't see that as often. Touch out your feet and play it into that area, or the little combinations that he does. But he's been a brilliant servant. But that ball, it was vintage, and the quality on it. But it's also a good finish. But the anticipation, as if it was maybe one of the other wingers, they maybe looked to go with the pace or not played it as early as what Mark Albrighton can do.
Yeah, no, very much so.
Yeah, it was just vintage, wasn't it, from both of them? You'll have probably looked more at the run from Vardy and the headed finish from Vardy. When a ball's on a plate like that, it's probably harder to miss than it is to score.
You know what? I don't think he probably gets enough credit for his heading ability, Jamie Vardy. It was a fantastic header. We've spoken about the quality of the cross in from that right hand side, and it was. There was whip, there was pace, the height was perfect. I think Birmingham were foolish because they don't get anybody close enough to Albrighton to put a little bit of pressure on him. So, he had the freedom of the king power to put a good ball in, which is exactly what he did. But it's just that little movement from Jamie Vardy, and I think that comes naturally. I don't think it's something that you can be. I thought he looked really sharp. He missed that chance in the first half when he was clean through, and he had a heavy touch, and Big John Ruddy came out and gathered the ball. It's got a really good header. I mean, it was touch and go about the one that got disallowed for offside, but he still looks really quick. In this championship, I think he's still quicker than any centre half that he'd come up against. And he was adamant that he was onside. He timed his run to perfection. I mean, it was extremely tight, but it was an absolutely top class header that he scored. But it's all about the ball in from Mark Albrighton.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that about the offside. I'd forgotten about it, but
it was tight, man.
I thought it was onside. When I saw it first time, I haven't seen a replay. I know it was tight. I wouldn't say he was definitely on.
No, but it was tight.
Me, that assistant referee missed something that was 3 yards in front of him, and Eunice pushed over. I can't remember what player it was now. Blatantly, assistant referee didn't give it. but he managed to see that was 55 yards away, and it was inches in the centimetres in the decision.
Eagle eye, mate.
Yeah, that's one of them. If you haven't got VAR involved, I'm not quite sure. How we can be exactly sure, I don't know. That would be normally they used to get the benefit of the doubt over the forward, didn't they?
They did.
But
They
anyway,
wrecked
it
all
wasn't
that.
to be. Didn't matter.
Let's not go there.
Didn't matter as it happens, did it? But yeah, no, he looked sharp. And it was so strange. It ended up a really positive day, didn't it? And it looked anything but. There were a few groans and grumbles in the first half, but you know, ultimately, as you mentioned, some of the younger players have come in. Cover in particular at right back, stroke hybrid midfield. Yes, he'll be disappointed to come off at half time, but he did not disgrace himself at all. I thought he performed very encouragingly. Got involved, got in the mix straight away. It didn't look like a debutant to me, but just that change. I think in hindsight, Maresca was right to make the changes.
Do you think that was planned?
No,
No.
I don't think so. Not at that point. I think he probably had it in mind, if required, at a later stage of the game.
But not to start the second half.
That was like needs must, though.
Yeah.
They were mighty fortunate.
Because obviously you take them out to Reston for the game on Tuesday against Swansea. So probably not what he wanted
Players
to do.
can play 45 minutes, no problem, can't they?
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to jade them for Tuesday night, really. It's the second half that takes the energy out, doesn't it? But it was surprising how much difference it made.
Downbeat on it though, because he didn't perform poorly.
No,
he
not
wanted
at all.
to receive the ball and get involved. The game didn't play out that way, and obviously
It wasn't
Ricardo
down to
coming
him,
on is more composure and experience, but he can feel hard done by that. It's obviously gone with one of the younger ones coming off.
Yeah.
But he didn't perform
No,
too bad.
I thought he did well.
So you can take a lot of encouragement from it.
100%.
It was more tactical in the fact of experience and the quality on.
Well, Ricardo
it
was
just
probably
changed.
the most influential player in the
Yeah, it
second
probably
half.
was. Yeah.
So
To
there you
sort
go.
of
That's
turn
what
the
you're up
game as
against,
well.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it also shows the depth in squad that we know about. Sorry, mate, but you've got injuries, you've got suspensions, you've got AFCON, you've got big changes, young players coming in, which is encouraging itself. But then the team still looks okay. It was a little bit, people were a little bit concerned up against a strong Birmingham side. But then just three changes give it a totally different look. And all that side that fit, that started the second half, shall we say, for a championship club, pretty impressive.
You look at the spine of that team: Jamie Vardy,
Exactly.
Dennis Pratt, Hamza Chowdhury, Cody and Doyle.
Exactly.
That's not bad, is it?
There you go. Build
That's
from
not
that
bad, yeah.
and add three
Yeah.
to that,
Yeah.
then you've got
Yeah.
a team, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, let's take a look at how some of the Leicester City players reacted then on social media to that victory over Birmingham at the weekend. Mark Albrighton, there he is, one for the ages today. Another great win in the cup with those two emojis. I'm assuming referencing himself there and Jamie Vardy rolling back the years. Vardy himself said, FA Cup magic, you just can't beat it. And finally, we've got one more, and it's from Eunice. He says, first of many, and we can see a little video clip there of that strike. What a strike it was as well. From Eunice there, as Matt Elliott rightly said, he rocketed it into the back of the net. Right, let's get the first of our Lurdles then this evening as well. This is the part of the show where you guys at home can get involved with it. We're going to play you a snippet of commentary. We'll do it throughout the show. The clue will get easier and easier as the clip gets longer and longer. All you need to do is tell us who scored the goal and who it was against. So don't worry if you can't get it off clue number one, because it's only short. Here is the first clue.
Tielemans here with the delivery. Tielemans with the ball in.
I thought that was going to be it. Tielemans here. End.
Well, it pretty much was, wasn't it? That's all you got from clue number one there is Yuri Tielemans. So that's what's that, about three years that you can look back on. So it's quite a difficult first clue. We'll do clue number 2 fairly shortly. We're going to move on, though, from the game at the weekend and look at the one tomorrow, because Bubba on Facebook, good evening to you, Bubba says, Bubba rather, he says, order is restored, much like the Foxes with 3 points tomorrow night. That's an important point. Vince Kelsey also says, big game as well on Tuesday night against Swansea. So... It is a big game, really, when you look at it. You and Leicester obviously winless in the last 2 in the league. It'll just stop some of those nerves, won't it, that maybe have crept in those last couple of league games.
I mean, you know, the Coventry game was a big disappointment, local derby. The way we conceded those 3 late goals, obviously reasons for that, down to 10 men and what have you. The Ipswich game here last Monday night, I thought played really well in the first half. Probably didn't take the chances that we created. Should have scored more than the one we did. To be fair to Ipswich, there was a good reaction back from them in that second half, and probably deserved a point. But even though it was another sort of cruel way to draw the game with that deflected last minute shot again against them. So no wins in 2 in the league, but. I think, you know, this game, I was at Bournemouth on Thursday night. Luke Williams has been in charge for 3 games now. He's promised Swansea fans quick, attacking football. And that's great. And, you know, I love seeing that sort of style being played and implemented.
They got battered.
They've conceded 10 goals in these 3 games. So, you know, they're not in the best of form. I think it's a poorer Swansea squad that I've seen in a long time. They've got, I think, 4 wins in their last 14 league games. 3 of those came under Alan Sheehan, who was caretaker manager after Michael Duff got the sack. And they're just not in a good place. And I mean, they've got some massive games coming up. Of Swansea, they've got Leicester tomorrow night. And the next 4, they've got Leeds, they've got Ipswich. So it's not that we're too concerned, but it's worrying times for Swansea. But I think it's a great game. I think the next 2 are great games. You know, Stoke away on Saturday, but you know, we'll concentrate on one at a time. I think the next 2 for the Foxes are really winnable.
Yeah, how big is that game tomorrow night, Matt? As we've said, just to alleviate some of the slight nerves that may have crept in, as Ewan's rightly pointed out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think they're quite sort of single-minded, the group, and that's inspired by Enzo Maresca. There's pressure, of course there is, in terms of, you know, expectations to go and achieve the target of getting back into the Premier League. And, you know, a lot of people expect Leicester to do that. And quite comfortably at times it looks like it's going to be, but there's still a lot of hard work to be done. But I think there's... You know, you can look at it in different ways, can't you? But I would be looking at it, if I'm a player or a manager, I'm thinking we're in a very healthy position here. What a position to be in. Not panicking, looking over my shoulder going, oh, well, we lost, we haven't won in 2 games and we're going to go on a, you know, terrible trot and we're going to capitulate. I'm not thinking like that. And the other teams, you look at it, what, there's 7, 8 and 9 points ahead of 2nd, 3rd and 4th, I think it is. It's still at the moment, isn't it? You know, what a place to be in. And the pressure is really on the teams trying to chase Leicester as much as the other way round. Because, don't get me wrong, you know, if things don't go right tomorrow and other teams pick up 3 points, then all of a sudden, you know, the gap's closing. Slightly different scenario. But as things are, you know, Leicester are more likely to extend their lead right now than the lead to shorten.
The last time Leicester didn't win in 2 games in the league, they then went on to win 26 points from their next 10 games.
Exactly. Leicester, I don't
They're more than capable
have to eat the words at some stage, but Leicester are too good a side in this division to not win
too much
games
quality.
over a period of time.
Yeah.
I think it's also a perfect team, isn't it? Swansea.
Yeah,
in terms of it was convincing away from home. Obviously, a change in management. Luke Williams likes to play. So they'll be passing the ball, moving it. Obviously, they might have to sit in to begin with, but they also like playing with the ball as well. But Leicester better with the ball, and the stronger runners than Swansea. It was evident away from home when probably the appointing Michael Duff to get that bit of play in, but a bit more physicality. Didn't quite work out. Luke Williams has come in, hasn't really changed too much from results-wise, and you fancy Leicester all day long, and then you don't, and then the gap gets extended, and then no one's even thinking about anything. But you've got to go and do the business. But I think it's a perfect game. Swansea come in here, you expect they're going to make it as difficult as possible, but I don't think they're that nasty team, are they? They like to play as well, but Leicester can outplay them and outrun them as well. So I think it's set up perfectly for a home win.
Yeah, don't
without cursing it.
Exactly, yeah. You don't want to get ahead of yourself, and there's still work to be done, don't get me wrong, and lots of it. Not getting blasé at all, but, you know, just, okay, the lead has been reduced a touch, but, you know, put it the other way around. If you were 4 points clear and then you ended up 7 points clear, you'd be thinking, right, we're on the way to cruising this.
Yeah.
You'd be mistaken for doing that, but 7 points is a healthy lead when you're as good a team as Leicester.
Also, I think for them as well, I don't know if they've got anything to play for, have they? They're not going to really get playoffs. They probably won't go down.
They're 8 points off relegation, and you know.
But you think they've got too much quality for that?
Know, I've said, I don't know.
Wow.
Matty, honestly,
Wow.
I've
the other team's capability to catch them.
well,
more
that,
the issue, isn't it?
You know, they've lost the lad Jamal Lowe. He's out for a month. They've signed a young Brazilian called Ronald today. I don't know too much about him. I've got, you know, and with the fixtures,
Ronaldinho.
with the fixtures they've got coming up, I mean, they've got some tough fixtures.
Are you
in their
fearing
next 5
for
games.
them a little?
I am.
Oh, wow.
I am.
Well, Swansea themselves are winless in their last 12 visits as well to Leicester. That run stretches all the way back to 1950. So hopefully that gives Leicester fans some hope heading into the game tomorrow, a game that is available to everybody on Fox's Hub. So if you can't make it down to King Power Stadium, it doesn't matter too much because you can come, you can watch it rather. It only costs £10. There is a live UK stream, a live worldwide stream, of course, as well. That Game Pass will be available to you. All you need to do is head to lcfc.com and Fox's Hub. You can get all the details there and watch the full game with us. Right, let's do clue number 2 for our Lardle then this evening. Bubba has done his usual guess of Vardy against Spurs. It is not Vardy against Spurs. We can rule that one out now. So a reminder, we're looking for the goal scorer, the team that it was scored against. And here is clue number 2.
Tielemans here with the delivery. Tielemans with the ball in. Ricardo to Tielemans.
So nothing much yet to go on for this one. Remember, there is always a link, so that might throw you off somewhat. But if you guys start writing down what you think it might be, you guys listening in, let us know on Facebook and on YouTube. I'll add to you and stat as well from before about Luke Williams in the games that he's had at Swansea. You stretch you back a little further, Ewan. His last 5 Football League games, so 3 at Swansea, of course, 3 with Notts County and 2 with Swansea. There's been 22 goals involved in those 5 games. So that's 13-4-9 against. He clearly wants attacking football, but it means that they can be leaky at the back.
And that's great. When he left Notts County, I think they were 5th in League 2. They had the worst defensive record. They had Macaulay Langstaff up front, who, I mean, he got 40-odd goals for them last season. He's got 20 league goals already. And I think at that level, you probably, if you've got sort of the attacking players that they had at Notts County, you're going to outscore teams. But I think the higher you go, you're not. And
he did like to play a really high line.
Yeah.
Really aggressive high line, and obviously with the quality in the Championship, someone slides it through. I don't think that will be the case tomorrow.
But I was surprised on Thursday. They're 3-0 down after 14 minutes, and he doesn't change anything. His wing-backs are playing like wingers. They're not getting back. He had 3 in midfield, 2 attacking midfielders, and Matty Grimes, who's a good player, by the way.
Yeah,
he's a very, very good player. He's got a lovely left foot about him. Just him, and I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. And he looked shell-shocked at what had happened in that first half at Bournemouth. And
players, or managers, these days tend to do that, though, don't they? a few make little changes and adapt themselves or adapt their team, but you could level that at Russell Martin at Southampton. Really, early on this season, ex-Swansea manager.
Yeah. Well, when he was at Swansea, they had the 6th and 5th worst defensive record.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Not sort of
was struggling in that period even, but even then, he was identified or whatever, or I don't know, he got the job at Southampton anyway, and they started off horrendously defensively, don't they? But then gels together, so perhaps Williams is looking for similar. Need to change soon. Maybe Leicester and King Power is not the best game to chance your arm, but
I do like the idea of playing out from the back and building up, but there's got to be a point when
if you can't do it,
you're 3-0 down against a Premier League team, you've got to think, actually, we'll play percentages here, squeeze up a little bit. Rather than going, we're playing some nice stuff, and I'm sure he would have been pleased with a few string of passes, but if you're so open and behind in a cup tie that much, you think, try and get back in. If we nick one, we might be back in the game. But instead,
just make sure you don't concede
still doing all the same stuff
before half time
to look nice. Sometimes it's looking nice as opposed to the results, which is just weird in terms of this philosophy and idea. Sometimes you've got to go, actually, it's going to go a little bit ugly. We're going to play in behind, and then we're going to work off that 100%. Until we get together.
Decision making, isn't it? But the same could be levelled, ironically, at Leicester in the first half at the weekend. With that, they could have come unstuck 3-0. It would have been interesting if they were 3-0 down. They'd have made the changes, I know.
But I think there would have been more tempo. You're at home as well, so there'd be more impetus to get behind. Away from home,
but they were getting caught a lot of the time because of how they play. Like mistakes were being made. But I think Maresca would persevere with that anyway, regardless. He'd just carry on and say, right, we just need to get better at it. Practice makes perfect in his eyes.
Judging from what you were saying, Matty, about the high line that we think Swansea might play, it's led me to think who might start up front for Leicester out of Vardy and Cannon. Do you think, we both saw them have minutes. Vardy got that goal at the weekend. Cannon got an assist, of course, for Dennis Pratt's goal. He's looked good when he's come in. Is it the natural change? Is it going to be Cannon, do you think? Or might he think Jamie Vardy is a good shout for maybe exploiting a high Swansea line?
I think they both can do it. Obviously, Jamie Vardy is known for his pacing behind and stretching defences, as we saw at the weekend with the chances he had, even in the first half, with that heavy one in the first half, which just ran through to the keeper. But he does stretch that. Tom Cannon, we saw it against Millwall away. He can run in behind. He's not as quick as Jamie Vardy.
He's powerful, isn't he?
He's a powerful, strong runner, but probably not as quick as Jamie Vardy. Thrives on that one in behind. But again, I haven't seen Luke Williams' teams at Swansea. I saw them at Notts County, and the line was really aggressive. And I think it plays into either Cannon or even the wide players. He'll suit Mavididi, like the ball in behind.
Even midfield, you get.
Yeah,
I mean, when it's Dewsbury Hall and then deeply, many times the centre forwards come short to attract the centre halves, and bang, they're in.
You would think there'd be a little bit more conservative at the back and maybe sort of a mid block as opposed to super high, especially away from. But again, if you saw the same things at Bournemouth, then you'd think they'd do the same tomorrow night, where it could be for Cannon or Vardy, both of them capable of exploiting that high line and threatening.
Because a lot of managers don't like to. Some do. They make little adjustments. Some don't like to.
No, the set in the ways.
This is how I want to play. Yeah. This is how we're going to play, regardless 100%. Of the opposition.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act, for managers to look at. But it seems from what you're saying, he's more than likely to play his way. Yeah. Which makes it big ingredients for a good game.
Yes, it's a 7:45 kickoff tomorrow. That means from 6:45 we'll know all the team news, and you can join us on Matchday Live. Good evening to Fee, who has joined us on Facebook. Fee always likes to get involved with our game, so we might as well do clue number 3 of our Lardle now. A reminder, we are looking for the goal scorer and the team that it was scored against of this little clip. We've got 2 more clues to go. Here is the 3rd and penultimate clue for you this evening.
Tielemans here with the delivery. Tielemans with the ball in. Ricardo to Tielemans. Tielemans deflected. Bottom back post, and it's a winning goal!
Matt's got a bit of a smile.
I'm just laughing at Nick getting all excited there. It's just quite relaxed, doesn't he? And then he explodes. But God, you should remember that. It sounded quite distinctive, that, didn't it? Last late
winner.
Yeah, late winner as well.
Didn't
Yeah,
see
I'll throw
too
some
many
clues out there.
supporters there.
No, it seemed to be like
No, yeah,
a
away
bleak,
from home.
Away from
bleak
home.
away from home Tuesday night in Stoke.
Was it a COVID night?
Was it
Not quite,
COVID?
Matt, but I might say you're on the right lines slightly with what you're trying to say there. We'll get clue number 4 fairly shortly. Before we do that, though, Iwan Roberts, it's time, as you did 2 weeks ago, to take the reins of the show. This week, may you take us globe-trotting. What have you got for us this week?
Well, I've gone for the one that we should go for, to be fair. It's the obvious one. Portman Road, Ipswich Town 1, Maidstone United 2. Ipswich second in the Championship. They've only lost twice in 32 competitive games at home. One was to Leeds in the league this season. The other was to Fulham in the EFL Cup earlier in the season. Maidstone are 4th in the National League South. There's 95 places between them. But it's just the magic of the FA Cup. There's a really nice story. I mean, Lamar Reynolds, he scored there first on 43 minutes. Sam Cornet, he scored the winner on 66. But Lamar Reynolds, the players and the staff, they all went to the clubhouse at the Maidstone United ground yesterday to see the draw live, and I think they were slightly disappointed with Sheffield Wednesday or Coventry. No disrespect to those two clubs, but Lamar Reynolds, he missed it because he's a social support worker in Ilford, and he drives a minibus for the Links Support Solutions. He helps people which helps people with autism and learning difficulties. They play basketball, they play cricket. So I think that's good
effort.
Yeah, you know, when he's had probably the best day in his career, and it was a magnificent goal, by the way. I don't know if you saw it.
That lob
the
finish
outside of his left foot, was it?
Yeah, sort of the dink over the keeper.
It
the
was
first one.
Yeah,
really good finish.
It was
really
a fan, but you know, it just goes to show he's.
Right, he was working yesterday.
Yeah,
really.
and you know, taking kids with learning difficulties, autism. I think it's a fantastic story.
They had a bit of a night out though, didn't they?
I should hope they did.
Was it Moo Moos or something?
Maidstone's not a bad night out.
Correctly.
I used to live in Kent. I've had 1 or 2 nights out in Maidstone. But yeah, George Alacoba, who obviously played for Wolves, he was slightly disappointed. Not the draw that we were looking for, were his words. I mean, is it the biggest cup set ever? I'm not sure that it is. I mean, for me, it's Wrexham in '92 when they beat
Arsenal.
Arsenal, I think Wrexham were in Division 4 at the time. Arsenal, they'd won the league the previous season, and people always remember Mickey Thomas's marvellous free kick. No one remembers the fella who scored the winning goal, Steve Watkin.
Scored
the winning goal, but he doesn't get mentioned for it. Yeah,
Played against him a number of times. Yeah, good player, good goal scorer, to be fair.
Good finisher. Good finisher. I don't know if you've got any sort of cup. I mean, even it was Wimbledon Liverpool in the '88 cup final. I thought that was still a massive shot. The Crazy Gang beating Liverpool.
Yeah, with Ipswich being a championship team, albeit a very good one, because you know it takes a little bit of the glamour away.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? You know, it's not like Liverpool or Man U in their pomp or whatever, but still amazing, isn't it? From
it's magnificent. In the 6th tier of
Maidstone used to be in the league as well.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
played against them at Torquay many
got a
times.
plastic pitch now. So.
Have they?
And Ipswich were quite strong, to be fair. They, Broadhead played, Morsey played. Yeah,
well, that was the thing. I
Edmondson
listened to little bits on the radio in the car, and Ipswich were absolutely pumping them, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was like 0-0, and
keeper kept the minute, to be fair.
yeah, missed opportunities, and
I think you need that though, don't you, in the cup? That's the magic of it.
They took
Keeper
it to the
as a
extreme.
worldie, and then you go on the counter attack.
Yeah, need a bit of luck as well.
But they scored. They got the goal, and everyone was raving and going mad, and on the commentaries, etc. And in the half time, then I saw it had gone to 1-1. It was here in preparation for the game. You thought, oh, here we go then. Enough's enough. Whatever. Calm down, lads. And the next minute they've got another one and nicked it.
And that was a great goal as well. Really good move. Well worked goal.
Yeah, well, fair play. Well done, chaps.
Matt, we can't talk about FA Cup upsets without me reminding you of a certain one back in 2000. We don't need to dwell on it, though.
No, we don't.
That was just Just reminding you of it. Right, clue number 4.
Oh, that's it. We're moving on already, are we? Thank the Lord for that.
Yeah.
I've got a worse one, which I won't
Clue
even
number
go.
4 for our Lardle now. Fee has indeed got involved. She has said, is it Harvey Barnes against Birmingham? She's made that link. I'm afraid it isn't, Fee, but thank you for the guess. We will play you clue number 4, though, now. So we need the goal scorer, which we'll get. We just need the team it's scored against. Right, here we go.
Ricardo to Tielemans. Tielemans deflected, bottom back post, and it's a winning goal! Wes Morgan with the goal! What a goal from Wes Morgan! Terrific ball in from Tielemans, which might have been deflected, and Wes Morgan gets above the crowd.
No.
Yeah. So Wes Morgan there, obviously, with the goal. We need to know who that was against. You've got about 10 minutes while we do predictions and our football Jenga to get your guesses in. You're still some frown faces, Matt. I was expecting you potentially to get it.
Well, we
weren't there. I will say that you weren't there. So there's another clue. Probably a Northern game.
Yeah.
Any more clues?
Yeah. No, that's the last one.
Well, I can remember Wes scoring. It's not that. He scored against Man U, didn't he?
It's not that.
Not that one, is it?
Well, Bubba's just gone, is it Wes Morgan? So well done to Bubba for that. The team that it was scored against. And before you guess it, it wasn't Spurs. Right. Before we do our predictions, I've got to read out the question for tonight's football Jenga. This is where the 4 of us go head to head. I've only just been texted the question now on this theme. So what we need to do, we need to take it in turns to name any player to appear in the matchday squads when Leicester last played Swansea at King Power Stadium. So that was back in February 2018, and it was a 1-1 draw. So anyone that was in the matchday squad for that game there. Right, while the 3 of you write frantically some answers down there, I'll quickly run through the predictions. This is where we all look at 5 fixtures ahead of the weekend, put our fixtures in, how we so we'll start with the game that I believe was on Saturday evening. Fulham 0, Newcastle 2. I'm the only person who predicted a Newcastle win there, so that's 1 point for me. If you get the score spot on, you get 3. So a Fulham goal would have given me 3, but it was only 1 there. Next up was on Sunday, of course, that Black Country derby. Well done to Ewan and to Tony for getting that right. No one got it spot on, though. West Watford 1, Swansea 1. Ewan Roberts, well done. 3 points for Ewan, well done. Next up, we have Liverpool 5, Norwich 2. Everyone went for a convincing Liverpool victory there. I would have been very surprised if anyone had said 5-2. So that's just 1 point for everyone there. And then finally, the Newport Manchester United game. Ewan let his heart
what's going on there, Ewan?
I definitely let his heart run his head.
Well,
he said a Newport win.
Lads, come on, they were close. 2-2 at one stage. Yeah. Come on, bit of credit.
Yeah, so
you keep convincing yourself. Oh, there's a shot. Ewan's at the bottom.
That's why Ewan's at the bottom with predictions like that. That sees him, what's that? 16 points off the top, Ewan. That's very unlike you.
Yeah,
I must say.
It's been a poor defence of my title. Really poor.
It has. You can make up for it, though, of course, in the football Jenga, which we're going to do now. I've not got any written down yet, so I'm going to start with you guys in the studio. I'm trying to figure out where you're all sat. Ewan, are you on the left-hand side here?
I'm in the middle. I'm keeping your seat warm, Dan.
Right, okay. Well,
I'm in the middle too.
Who's going?
So I'll quickly remind the guests of the question. It's name any player to appear in the matchday squads when Leicester last played Swansea at King Power Stadium back in February 2018. It was a 1-1 draw. So Ewan, yes, please kick us off.
Jamie Vardy.
Me, Batesy.
Yes, please. And then I'll go and then Matty.
I don't think I'll be around for very long, to be honest. Peter? Not Peter, Casper. It's Michael. Schmeichel.
I will go with Riyad Mahrez.
gone there? I thought
Wow.
I was going to put him, but he can't. He can get back to bed now, Bates. He can have a lie down.
That's early. That's early for you, Dan.
It's an early exit, and I'll leave it for you three then.
He's devastated.
Right, Matty.
This is the only semi-interesting thing you've done for about 3 weeks, and you can't enjoy it anymore, son.
I'll go with Mark Albrighton.
Oh, good shout.
Yes.
I'm going to go Andy King.
Oh, was he injured? Was he injured? I've got him down. Oh, devastated for you, you. Especially when I had it written down. Oh dear, right.
I've got loads of Swansea ones.
No, Andy King, yeah, that's where you were going to win, weren't you? Shut over here, son. Danny Simpson. Well done, Matthew. It's only me and you. Slim Jim. Is that a fake struggle?
No, it's struggling. Ricardo Pereira?
Oh, no.
Is that too early?
No. You're right.
Oh. What a week effort.
That's so poor, isn't it?
We can't have it like finishing like that, Matt. You got to
We
get
can.
one to win it.
We can. Wes Morgan.
Yeah, I've got.
Come on. Don't do anything silly. Don't let me down, Wes. Oh, no!
We're all back in. We're all back in.
I'd won anyway.
We're all back in.
Because I got the
Yeah.
numbers right, hadn't I, officially? Who did play then?
We'll give.
Wes didn't play in
That's a
that.
good question. We'll see if.
I was going to say
I'll
Fuchs.
have a quick look.
Did Fuchs play?
You guys talk. Go on. Yeah, you guys talk about the Swansea game tomorrow while I quickly look up
should've
the
gone
teams
Fuchs.
for that. I will say
Harry Maguire?
we've had a couple of the guests for our Lurdle. Bubba said Wes against Swansea. It wasn't Swansea. Have you got it, Matt, or not? Who the
It
goals?
wasn't Burnley, was it?
Burnley away, yes.
Yeah. Vaguely remember that,
Yeah. Burnley. Right, I'm going to read out in alphabetical order the names of either team. So there's Tammy Abraham, Albrighton. In fact, I'll just read the Leicester players out that you could have had. So Albrighton, Ben Ilouan, Ben Chilwell, Husseini Diabate, Nathan Dyer, Christine Fuchs, Damari Gray, Bora, Iheanacho, Matty James, Harry Maguire, Wilfred Ndidi, Shinji Okazaki. So there was plenty there that we could have had. There's a few more as well. Obviously, Schmeichel, we've said already. Adrian Silva, Danny Simpson, Jamie Vardy as well. So there were a few that we missed. Some injuries. Mahrez was definitely at the club then, but he was clearly injured. So
Bates is devastated.
But same with you with Morgan, to be fair.
No, I wasn't, because I won. I wasn't.
Final look ahead to the game tomorrow. A reminder, it is available to everybody on Fox's Hub. As we've said earlier in the hour, big game, isn't it, Matty Fryatt, for Leicester? Hopefully they can get back to winning ways in the Championship.
Yeah, big game. Hopefully to extend the lead at the top. One expectant on, but I think Swansea will have to shore things up a little bit more than what they've been doing. But again, as Ewan's alluded to, they might stick with the philosophy and that playing, and that should make out for a good game, sort of an exciting game, sort of end to end. But you think if Leicester on it, people coming back into it, freshened up from the weekend, you'd think Leicester will be too strong for Swansea. It doesn't always work out that way, so they've got to be on it, they've got to be ready. But I am feeling confident that Leicester can get the job done, and looking at fixture-wise, it looks really good. Get this one out the way sort of thing, and then look at the away fixtures. But looks good position to be in, obviously through to the next round, and one where you're hoping to extend and looking really good at this stage. And January is such a weird sort of time of year as well, with obviously transfers and FA Cup games and sort of rest periods when you've had loads of games over Christmas. It's sort of a funny month, but if you can navigate through it and still be in the position Leicester find themselves, then you've got the rest of the season and looking really promising.
Yeah, incidentally, Wes Morgan, the reason we picked that goal against Burnley is because he signed for us 12 years ago tomorrow. So what a brilliant signing that was, of course, from our local rivals there. Speaking of January transfer business, as Matty Fryatt has just alluded to there. Just finally, before we go off, Ewan, have you preferred being back in the pundit's chair rather than the host's chair as you were a couple of weeks ago? Must say you did a brilliant job.
Far less pressure, Dan. Far less pressure. Your job's safe, mate. Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm glad. Well, maybe you can use the extra time to work on your predictions a little bit ahead of next week's show. Good.
And his Jenga.
Well, thank you very much to Matty Fryatt, to Matt Elliott, and to Iwan Roberts for their company this evening. Don't forget that game is available for everybody, just £10. The game passes are available for the game with Swansea at King Power Stadium tomorrow. Matchday Live will be with you from 6:45 ahead of that 7:45 kickoff. But yeah, everybody have a fantastic week, and here's hoping there'll be 3 more points tomorrow.